Finger licking, cowboy picking. I am ridiculously excited, guys, to present this interactive ebook to you. I hope you're going to become a great picker by the end of this book. I'm excited for you. I'm going to walk you through this whole thing. Read the book, do the exercises, be patient, and things are going to get awesome. Before you start doing crazy picking, you've really got to have a firm foundation in the rhythm. So when we're doing the downbeats, you can think of a floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's always going to be your thumb in this book, at least for the first half of this book, 98% of the time. 3, 4. When we're Travis picking, thumb is on a downbeat. Upbeats are for the other fingers, and think of a ceiling to your floor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and anytime you look at a tab, you can always do that before attempting to play it. You want to make sure you got a feel for the rhythm first. So example 1 here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 is the only one with a ceiling. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The example to the right, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Final one on the right, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Bottom left example, 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. Next one is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the final one, 1 and 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4. And make sure that is solid. Practice that. I know it seems like really elementary, but you gotta have a firm foundation on eighth notes, or a lot of the finger picking is gonna confuse you. The thumb. Let's talk about the first example here. We're just fretting a simple G chord. I only need that 3rd fret. I'm ignoring the other ones. My thumb is hopping from 6 to 4. And a couple of things to note. It's mainly from this big thumb joint. Yeah, there's some natural movement to my elbow and my wrist, but it's mainly that big thumb joint. And I'm hitting it near this, kind of like the outside of my thumb. I'm using the flesh. A lot of people will grow out their nails. That's fine. Whatever works for you. A few things to note. You want all of these other fingers to stay relaxed. You don't want them flailed down like this. I'll see a lot of players do that, where they're like, have a lot of tension here. Just pretend you're standing and at ease. Slowly bring your hand up. And there should be just a natural curl in these fingers. And just keep them relaxed. And move your thumb. The rest of your hand should be totally relaxed. You could float those fingers or keep them down on the strings that you're not playing. Keep it real, even, and do something physical with it. Quick note on follow through. Just pay attention to how far that thumb is going. When I'm playing that 6th string, it's almost like I'm getting ready. I'm prepping. We'll talk more about that in the book. I'm like prepping to do 4. Now when I play this one, it goes down a little bit, but I'm not doing that, right? I don't want too much of a follow through because I got to get back to where I'm going. And you should even practice that. The moment I play this 4, yeah, there's a little bit of a follow through, but right after I kind of slingshot back up because I'm going to play that one again. So you kind of see that slingshot. The first one goes straight down to the note. This one has to slingshot back up. And now can you look out the window? Can you read a book? And keep this really even rhythm without looking at your hand. And here again is the prep work. Right, this is going to kill the sound, but this is strict prep work. The moment I play 6, my thumb, I'm actually going to touch 4. Now there's going to be moments you don't want to do that because you want the notes to ring as long as possible. But for the first several weeks or even months, I want you to actually touch it to ingrain that habit that we're preparing and not wasting any time. We're getting ready for our next action, and that's going to help in your speed and fluidity further down the road. A through F, let's do all these thumb parts. So with A, I'm just doing a G chord, going from 6 to 4. In example B, we have a C major, and I'm playing 5 to 4. Example D, we have a D chord, I'm going from 4 to 3. else relaxed. Example D is back to a G chord, but we're doing 6 to 3. So quite a big thumb jump. You'll notice that my right arm, there's a little more movement in my hand to get down there. But again, it's still mainly the thumb. Example E is back to a C chord, but I'm doing 5th string to 3rd. None of these should feel clunky at all. Example F is getting the 2 lower notes on a G chord, so now I do need this middle finger on my left hand because I'm playing a G chord going from 6 to 5. Put it into practice under the thumb section. We've got assignment 1. Check out this cool pattern. The chords are G, C, G, D, but listen to what a nice thumb pattern alone can do for variety. So for the first G, we're going to do pattern A up above that was 6 to 4. I'm going to linger on it a little longer so you can follow with me. Then on the C chord, I'm going to do 5 to 4. Then I'm going to go back to the G, but I'm going to do 6 to 3. So we get some variety. Then on the D, I'm going 4 to 3. So even without any of the other fingers, we already have a fairly interesting little arrangement for those chords. 2, 3, 4. Switch to C. Then 6 to 3 on the G. Alright, nice variety of bass. So when we do add other notes, it's going to sound quite lovely. The muscle memory hack. Here is the muscle memory hack. We want to vary our dynamics. So let me just do a simple, I'll do a little more than just a thumb because we'll get there very soon. But I'm going to try my best to stay at the same tempo and get really soft. Stay at the same tempo and I'm gradually going to get louder. Back down. It's quite difficult. For me, this is really hard to talk and control dynamic at the same time. The more you do that, you're going to learn your pieces quicker and get a lot more finesse and control with your playing. Second part of the muscle memory hack is to vary your speed, and they should be self-explanatory. Sometimes I'm going to go really slow to make sure I'm doing all my prep work. Every once in a while I'm going to blaze it just to see how it feels, but then maybe go moderate again. Get the idea. Posture. If I'm going to put in a lot of time, I got a footstool, but a cardboard box works fine. A book, a big book, 2 or 3 books stacked, or like I said, an old cardboard box. I'm putting this guitar on my left leg. Ideally, you wouldn't even need a footstool if you had a short chair, but kind of the idea is to have your knee above your hip. That way the guitar doesn't keep sliding off your leg. If my knee is above my hip, then I can angle the guitar against my body. That's another huge one, is like, it's not flat against me like this, it's at an angle, so we have this triangle here, right? See that triangle? My body, my leg going up a little bit, the guitar coming to me. And that way, when I have that triangle, the snug triangle, the only thing holding the guitar, and depending how your guitar is weighted, like with an electric guitar, you don't even have to hold it at all. But with an acoustic, the only contact point is my right forearm here on the guitar. That's it, right? I shouldn't have to hold it. If you're holding your guitar with your left hand, it's a big problem. You need this thing to be free to play. And same with this, right? All these fingers are free to do whatever they need to. They should be incredibly comfortable just against my left thigh, my chest, and my right forearm. Right hand form and technique. Here are the bullet points on posture. So your thumb should be in front of your other fingers. And what I mean by that is in front meaning closer to, over here, right? This way up the neck. See how my thumb is leading? Even if you're a little more straight like this, that's fine. I don't want this, and this is a very common mistake. I don't want these fingers to be in front of your thumb. the tone's going to be really scratchy because you're coming at the string like perpendicular now instead of at an angle. So you don't want that. And how you adjust that is just consider where your elbow is and where your forearm are on the guitar. Sometimes you don't want to move. That's another reason like classical players do this, because just by moving the guitar instead of me contorting and, you know, possibly hurting myself, you know, lower back pain or repetitive stress injuries from not being in good form, I get to sit upright and I make the guitar do the work, all right? So the guitar comes up to me, and if I've got this angle right and my forearm placement is in the right spot, look at this. My thumb is now the leader. These other fingers are nice and naturally curled, but they're behind it. That way when I pull these in, they're not banging with my thumb. When this goes out, I've got plenty of room before I collide with my pointer finger. Or if I'm doing it like this, when these come in, they kind of hit the thumb. When the thumb goes out, it's like tucked in behind this one. The tone's kind of scratchy, so you want to lead with your thumb. Second most common beginner mistake is people they don't do the grasp. What they're doing instead of closing their fists is they're pulling like up from one of these knuckles. I do not want to see this. This is no good. What we're after is a simple closing of the fist. That's how we get these IMA, right? The Pima fingers, P-I-M-A. I want these IMA fingers to be closing into my palm. Now I'm not doing that every time because that's too much of a follow through for most instances, but I do want you to practice that where when you close all of them, these actually follow through. So if you watch this pointer finger, it's from this big joint up here, right? I'm not pulling up from any of these. This big joint here that connects to my hand, I'm pushing in from there, like as if you were grasping something, and I end up like that. And that might feel pretty awkward at first, but that's what I'm after. And then I can just squeeze a bit more before letting go and get a really loud tone that way. So the grasp, you can do one at a time and practice that with each one. My ring finger is weak. We'll talk about that later. But the grasp is this, all of them, just like I'm closing my fist. And naturally, I'll jump off the string a little bit, but you don't need to exaggerate it in any weird way. It's just a nice closing, grasping, and I end up with my fingers touching the inside of my hand. Here's example G. I'm just holding down a C chord. I got thumb on 5. These are on the top 3 strings, so ring is on there, middle there, pointer on the 3rd. And I'm just gonna grasp all at the same time. It's really gonna develop strength and coordination. You can do it on different chords. So here's G2, and here I do it on the different chords. You have a C chord, I can do 5 and then the top 3. But I could also just shift my thumb to the 4th string with the top 3. Right, different way to, different string set. 5th string, 4th, 5th. Then on a G chord, I could do 6 with my thumb. Then I'm shifting these 3 up. So now my ring finger's on the 2nd string. My middle is on the 3rd, the G, and my pointer's on the 4th, the D string. And I can do it like that. Or I can shift those 3 back to the top 3 again. So now I'm getting, right, that's on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I can go back and forth. Same thing on the C, 5, and then thumb on 4. I could, if I wanted to, this isn't written down, but I could, on the C, I could do the same thing where I shift these 3 up to start on the 2nd, 3rd, and the 4th and play it that way. No right or wrong way. I just want you to get used to that grasp in all sorts of different contexts and settings. All right, the pointer and the index finger. Here's example H. What we're doing here is our thumb is bouncing back and forth between 5 and 4. Great thing to do in this book is just always isolate that thumb. But each time we're pinching. So I got my thumb and my pointer finger hitting the same at the same time. So here it's 5 with 3. And then here it's 4 with 3. That is our pinch. You can pinch with any finger. Or I could pinch with thumb and middle if I wanted to, or thumb and ring. But for now we're going to focus on thumb and pointer. Now again, these other ones, you got some options. I could rest my ring and middle on those, on the first and second string and just keep it there. Another thing I can do is just kind of like relax them but keep them floating where they're not touching anything. And sure, some guys will anchor their pinky. Some guys will anchor their ring finger. I'm a little less comfortable with you doing that, but I certainly don't want you anchoring your middle finger as well. Don't do that. If anything, float them or just put the pinky down. But again, if you have really good posture and this is dialed in, your forearm is your anchor. Right? I'm really stable with where this meets the you know, the guitar, and that's what's keeping me steady. That is my anchor point. And if you do that well and your posture is good, you have no need to put this pinky down. You know, there's a lot of contexts where like this feels more unstable to me. Now I know it's going to happen when we palm mute, so you know, you're allowed to always break the rules a little bit, but man, spend this time really dialing in good posture. And if you do choose to break it later on, at least you're capable of doing it this way as well. Just going to make your form and technique all around better. Here's the stagger example I. We have thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. So maybe double back to the 1 and 2, 3 and 4, thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. And then also maybe you're just looking at the thumb for a second. And remember, these are all downbeats. And then in between 1 and 2, we do the pointer. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Now we'll add it in between 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. Can you do it really quiet? Can you suddenly get loud? Suddenly get quiet? Then practice gradually building up and dynamic. Exaggerate the prep work now. Slow as a sloth. I know it's easy to get lost on the rhythm when you go that slow, but that's the reason we're varying the speed, so your brain can digest it, your nervous system can digest it in as many ways as possible to get you learning quicker. Here's example J. We've got a pinch and a stagger, so I'm pinching at the beginning, but before, again, you can look at the measure. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and do the thumb alone. It's still just 5 and 4 on a C chord. Here I'm going to pinch 5 and 3, thumb alone, then I stagger it. So it's pinch, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. If you ever get lost, do the first beat, thumb, just keep it going. Pinch, then I'm going to add the and. Pinch, thumb, thumb, and thumb, pinch, thumb, thumb, and thumb. And if you're getting tripped up, that's okay. Go really slow. Maybe go back and just make sure that that thumb is totally mindless muscle memory where it's just every time going back and forth. Because then it's easy to add the other finger. If I don't have to think about the thumb, it's just dum, 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 dum. So you only have to think about that one element once that thumb is dialed in. And it doesn't take that long. You will get there, I promise. Here's example K, stagger, then pinch it, and we are doing a G chord this time. So I just need that 3rd fret, that's it. Real relaxed G chord. Again, start with your thumb. And remember the rhythm is going to be 1 and 2, pinch, 4, 1 and 2, pinch, 4. Saying it is easier than playing it, so that's not a joke. Like, I know I'm explaining it to you, but it's also a great way to practice. Is literally like, it's going to be thumb and thumb, pinch, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb, pinch, thumb. Then maybe add the first one, thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. Then I'm going to pinch it there, thumb, pointer, thumb, pinch, thumb, pointer, thumb, pinch. And those strings are 6, 3, 4, pinch 6 and 3, then do 4. Stagger, then example L, and this is taken from John Prine's All the Best. All staggered, just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the thumb's always doing 6 and 4. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and thumb, 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 middle. Sorry, thumb, index, index. So 3, 4, thumb, index, index. P, I, P, I. 3 and 4 and 1, 2. And then I can do it strict prep, really slow. Thumb, 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 index, thumb, thumb, thumb. And maybe at first you're going even slower, so play the thumb, prep it, play the thumb, prep it. Then when I play this thumb, I prep the index. When I play the pointer, I prep the thumb. When I play the thumb, I prep the pointer, it's already down. Play that pointer, and I prep the thumb for the repeat. Alright, we're near the end of the pointer and index section. Here I give 3, I'm calling them sets, but this is just different ways to start building your own fingerpicking patterns, and it's a way to understand them. Fingerpicking is just pinching and staggering, or the thumb alone, that's it. There's not that many elements in this Travis style stuff, at least in terms of like the rhythm for a lot of these kind of more beginner pieces, even more advanced pieces, right? It's still kind of this is the bedrock of it. So check this out. Set 1, all we're doing is we're moving the stagger around. So the first little example in set 1 is 1 and 2, 3, 4. So it's the and on beat 1. So I've got 6, 3, 4, 6, 4. P, I, P, 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 I, P, P, P. The second one, all I'm doing is taking that stagger, instead of putting it on the beat of the and beat of 1, we're putting it on the and beat of 2. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And guess what? For the third one, we put the and after beat 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Thumb, 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 pointer, thumb. For the fourth one, the stagger is going after the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Ready, go. Thumb, 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 and 3, 4, and. Keep varying the dynamic and speed. Set 2, same idea, but instead of varying the staggers, we're just going to vary the beat that has a pinch. I can pinch on beat 1, pinch, pinch, and now I'm pinching 6 and 3. I can pinch on beat 2. This might feel a little different, because now the thumb's in that, right, it's going to, on the higher string, right, higher in pitch, and we're pinching on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb, pinch, thumb, 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 pinch, thumb, thumb. Can pinch on beat 3. 1, 2, pinch, 4. And I can pinch on the 4th beat. And here is set 3. We have 1 pinch and 1 stagger. So the first example, I'm going to pinch beat 1, stagger the and of beat 3. So it's pinch, thumb, oh sorry, wrong string. Pinch, thumb, thumb, and thumb. Pinch, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb. That's already sounding really cool. I can change the chord. That's coming in the study pieces, so let's hold our horses. Second example here in set 3 is 1 pinch, 3, 4, and 1 pinch, 3, 4, and. So I've got thumb, pinch, thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb, pinch, thumb, thumb, pointer. And again, if if it isn't clear, thumb's always on a number because the number's a downbeat, and the other fingers can be a pinch or on the and beat. All right, example 3 here, set 3 is 1 and 2, pinch, 4, 1 and 2, pinch, 4, thumb, pointer, thumb, pinch, thumb. And the last one, thumb, thumb, 3 and pinch, thumb, 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 pointer, pinch, thumb, 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 pointer, pinch. This one's a little tricky, just because we have to double up quite quickly. Pointer, 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 pointer. It's going to be the hardest one just because you got to get your speed up on that pointer finger. And check that out. It's clear we didn't exhaust it, right? Set 1 was only 1 stagger. We could have done 2 staggers in a measure, 3 staggers, 4 staggers. Set 2 is only 1 pinch. You could do 1 pinch, 2 pinch, you can pinch all 4, right? So you can, and then you can mix and match. Maybe there's 2 pinches and 2 staggers, or 1 pinch and 3 staggers, or 3 pinches and 2 staggers. So you get just how, hanging out on that G chord, we already have quite a variety just using our thumb and our pointer finger without doing anything fancy with our left hand. Really cool. This is one of the great joys of finger picking, how much variety you can get with such little time and effort put in. Your first study piece, a wistful investigation of a garden gnome, also known as walking thumb with index. So here we go. A few ways to go about these. One is please learn it before you start practicing it. What I mean by learn it is you're going to go measure by measure and just make sure you understand it. First measure is all pinches. Then maybe the second one, I'm starting just with the thumb, and it's 1 and 2. I make sure I got the beginning part. All right, now I'm going to add the other one, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So go slow. You have to learn things before you practice them. That's really important. So once you do a bit of that on your own, let's play it together here. Our first study piece is going to sound cool. So 2, 3, 4. Stagger it, pinches again. Then we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then the F, keeping it a real simple F. And 2, 3 and 4. Pinch, 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 pinch. Thumb and thumb and thumb and back to the C. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, all pinches. Slightly busy measure here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. G. Pinch, pinch, stagger it. Pinch, stagger, pinch. Beautiful. Go slow. Spend one run through where you're doing really slow, just thinking through the prep work, and then vary the dynamic, as we said, vary the speed as well. Then eventually you play it up to speed, whatever that means to you, and you can even palm mute it to kind of get more of a feel. Put a little bit of the flesh down on it, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on to the middle finger. I won't do it to you. You know which one it is. So let's look at example M here. We're just going to be pinching. No new concept. But remember, maybe you're going to spend a minute with just your hand relaxed, only doing that middle finger. Maybe everything else is floating at first and only my middle is touching. Or you can try putting them all down, touching a string, but only your middle finger is firing. And guys, this may feel really awkward to only get that middle finger to move without the other ones. You know, there's some other movement in my hand, but if you want to be a crazy purist, put them all down and try to not even have the other ones move. But that's it. It's the same idea. It's that grasp. It's coming in. So let's do example M here. Right, I'm just pinching thumb and middle. That's an A minor. My thumb's doing 5 to 4, and I'm pinching the second string every time with that middle finger. And then here's the stagger, example N. Thumb and thumb, thumb and thumb. You can practice your prep work. Play it a little quicker. Play it loud. Play it soft. Gonna keep reminding you of that stuff. And then example O, we've got pinch, then stagger it. Pinch, thumb, thumb, middle, thumb. Example P is stagger, then pinch it. 1 and 2, pinch, 4. Sorry, and then it's a thumb, middle, thumb, pinch, thumb. And remember, any of these patterns are fair game for you to start running through different chord progressions, playing along with different songs. Even if they're not fingerpick songs, that can be a great project, is to take some strum song and create your own little fingerpicking pattern to it. And let's be honest, it's way more fun to practice in the context of songs. So once you have learned a pattern, instead of just sitting there and practicing it, put it in place of a real song. And that song is naturally going to have moments that might be a little quieter, a little louder. Certain notes are going to be emphasized, whether it's a drum or a keyboard part in the song that's like wanting you to play louder there. So that's just going to be more real life practice, and the end goal after all is to actually play music, not just run this stuff in isolation. And just to be crystal clear, let's actually prep everything on N. So I'm going to play the thumb, prep my middle finger on the second string. I'm going to play that second string, prep the fourth at the same time. Then when I play that fourth, I'm going to prep it right back to 5 because there's no top string there. So again, thumb, prep middle. Play middle, prep the thumb, play that thumb, and prep the thumb. Then the ending of the measure is once I play this 5th string, I'm going to prep the middle again, play the middle, and prep 4. So it's a little dance. Every time I move one, another one's going with it. Training yourself to think ahead, to be prepared, which is going to make your tone better, make your speed better, make things more fluid and easy on you. Inversions. So we've got a G chord, and then we go to a C chord, but we invert it, and it sounds quite lovely. So beautiful. Listen how this sounds different. If I just did G, went to a normal C. That's fine, but it's a little kind of more happy and generic sounding. Not generic, but just brighter, where this one is a darker sound. So all that I'm doing is thumb, 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 middle, thumb. Then I put these 2 fingers down like I'm playing a C chord, but this G doesn't move, and it's thumb, 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 middle, thumb again. So 3, 4. Here is the D/F sharp inversion, where instead of playing a D chord like this, I'm throwing the thumb over the top to get that F sharp in the bass. If you can't do the thumb over the top, there's all sorts of other ways to handle this chord. You can use these 2 fingers and put your pointer finger up there. Pointer, middle, ring. Some people do the pinky. I've seen some people put their middle finger up here, then they're doing the ring and their pinky over here, because it kind of depends if you need that top string or not. So in different settings, different contexts, you can fret this in all sorts of ways. I tend to do that thumb over the top, so that's going to be the 2nd fret, and I'm doing 6 to 4. But I've got the pinch here, pinch, stagger, stagger, stagger. So I'm pinching with thumb and middle, and then it's thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, pinch, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, pinch, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, middle. Here is your P and M study piece, your second study piece, or you can call it How to Gamble with the butterfly and the doe. All right, let's do it. A lot of middle finger work. It's going to be fun. Recall, learn the thing first. Don't just start practicing with me. Go through every measure. Make sure your brain understands it. That might take a while, right? You want to pre-practice, right? Learn before you practice. But once you did that, let's go together here, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4. Stagger it, pinch, then stagger it. C chord, pinch, pinch, stagger it, pinch. G with it open now. The inversion. So it's funny, my instinct was to use the pointer finger there, which eventually we'll get to. But everything should be middle finger for now. It's a lot of middle finger movement, and normally I wouldn't do that in practice, but just for the sake of really drilling that finger, I want you to realize what it's capable of doing all on its own. Remember, Merle Travis is a freak and mainly uses his pointer finger for pretty much everything, but then you have guys like Django, who, like, I don't know how his hand was crippled and which ones were. So you can develop all sorts of fingers to amazing capability. So for now, just make sure you realize like how much you can do with this middle, especially if you're one of these guys who's always just doing the pointer. Let's do it a little quicker now. Can't help but do that D chord with the pointer finger. It's just what I do in normal context all the time, to not move that middle there. But it does happen sometimes, and practice it with the middle, and I will too. Ooh, let's drone for goodness here. So what I got going on is I'm just gonna simplify my thumb, drone it, and we're gonna go through that E minor scale that we talked about. And go all the way up, some of the way up, however you want to do it. But start small. Let's do our first example here. We've got pinch, stagger, thumb, thumb, pinch, 2 and 3, 4, pinch, 2 and 3, 4. Now feel free to add notes to that. Pinch, thumb it, pinch, stagger it, pinch, stagger, thumb. Just with that one rhythm, you can have a lot of fun. And here's the second one, stagger it, so it's thumb and thumb, thumb and thumb. But here I got the second fret. And then you can have fun with that wherever you want. Here's more of the droning at the bottom of page 35 here, where we got pinch, stagger, stagger it. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Pinch. Pinch it open. And I'm walking it up. If that's too hard, just make sure you got it all opens first. Oh, sorry. Pinch, stagger, stagger it. Pinch, 2, and 3, and 4. Then you try it. And the one one to the right of that is stagger, 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 thumb and thumb and thumb, and that's what it looks like open. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then with the melody. Here's the two examples on page 36, stagger, pinch, pinch it. That one's really cool. Again, do them all opens first. 1 and pinch, 3 and pinch, and 1 and pinch, 3 and pinch, and quite a busy right hand thing happening there. Oops. This is where it becomes really important, where our thumb's just on autopilot. 1 and pinch, 3 and pinch, and pinch, and pinch, and... This is fairly complicated stuff. I hesitated to put it this early in the book, but I put it here just because I really want you to start spending time on that finger independence, so that when you become a more advanced finger picker, it's just going to be more of a seamless transition to get there. And here's the example on the right. The rhythm is 1 and pinch, 3 and pinch. So, and again, you can do middle or the pointer finger on top. I'm doing the middle. So 1 and pinch, 3 and pinch. And I added just one melody note at the end. Play around with the melody with that rhythm. Here is your Drone for Goodness study piece. This is quite a long PDF, so it's not one that you're really going to just like play it all the way through. It's more of something to kind of study and digest over time, keep revisiting it, and see what you can digest. So let's go. I'll just kind of walk through this whole thing and make sure we get it. The beginning is just pinching 6 and 1 the whole time. I could also pinch 6 and 2. I can pinch 6 in the 3rd string. Easy enough. I could walk up the scale on pinches. Open, 2, 3rd fret, 5th, 7, 8, 10, 12. I could stagger it, thumb and thumb, thumb and thumb. I could do that on the 2nd string. Measure 10, I can do it on the 3rd string. I could walk up the scale on the 1st string to the 2nd note, 3rd fret, and now, we already talked about this, but in measure 21, it's just you start to play around with rhythms again. Pinch, stagger, pinch. Pinch, stagger, pinch. Then in 22, okay, I added one melody note to that. In the next measure, we have 2 melody notes. Right, same rhythm though. What if I change those melody notes, go up to 5 here instead? Have a lot of fun with that. Measure 25 just has you walk up the scale on the 2nd string. So we start on a B, but we're still going to walk through the E minor scale. D, now here's the root E. F sharp, G, A. If you had an electric guitar, you could keep going, but we don't need to do that. I'm just showing you. So you can go up and down, you can stagger on that string, you can build different melodies and rhythms with the 2nd string, which is what we do all the way through measure 36. And then 37 is just building the E minor scale on the 3rd string. And you can do the same thing there. You can walk up on it on a stagger, you can walk up it on a pinch. Whoops. different rhythms there. You get the idea. Have fun with it and start building your rhythmic vocabulary while your thumb is just droning. All right, you want that thumb to drone and to be able to build any combination of 1 and 2 and pinch and pinch and 3 and 4 and pinch and thumb, whatever it might be. You want to have command over that. Shipoo! Section 2, you made it. If you're having any trouble with Section 1, send me an email over at mikesmusicmethod.com, or even better, post in the Discord. I'm there to help, but there's also a great community of pickers on the MMM Discord. So join that, ask your questions over there, but also feel free to email me. I want you to succeed, and I want you to be rocking and rolling and feeling good thus far in the ebook. Here, things really start to get fun, and you're going to start to hear a lot of the patterns and sounds that you love. So let's do it, starting this trifecta section, P-I-M, the trifecta. So let's look at example P. We've got an E major chord. My thumb is going to be bouncing from 6 to 4. The second beat is a pinch, so thumb, pinch, then I'm going to stagger it, thumb and thumb. But here, notice, is depending on the pattern, my middle and pointer, obviously the middle is almost always underneath the pointer. Sometimes that isn't the case when you got to cross and get advanced. But for now, at least for this measure, my middle's here, my pointer's here, and I would just kind of keep it that way. So I got thumb, I'm going to pinch thumb and middle, that's 4th and 2nd string. Then I'm going to stagger thumb, pointer, thumb, with the thumb being on the 3rd string. So it's thumb, pinch 4 and 2, thumb and middle, thumb again, staggered with the pointer finger on the 3rd string, thumb on the 4th, thumb, pinch with middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, thumb, thumb and middle, thumb, pointer, thumb. Example Q, we're just flipping it around. Thumb, now I'm pinching with my pointer finger. So it's going to be 4 and 3 there, thumb and pointer. Then I stagger with my middle. Thumb, stagger with the middle, thumb. So 6, pinch 4 and 3. 6, 2, 4. Here's example R. We're just going to be staggering it. So still on an E chord, and it's going to be thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. Those strings are 6, 2, 4, 3. 6, 2, 4, 3. Some guys think of that as like an outside-inside, because I got the outside, and then I'm going to do the inside. So that's one way to frame these kinds of patterns, is like outside-inside. Sometimes you'll do inside-outside. Anyways, however you want to think about it, it's thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. 6, 2, 4, 3. Example S is just flipping that. We're now, right, I'm doing, what do we call this? Like top to bottom, right? We're doing the low thumb with the lower EMA finger, then the high thumb with the higher EMA finger. Right, low, high, or top, bottom, or bottom, top. It gets confusing because I know this is the top, but it's actually the lowest sound. And when you look at a musical staff, the lowest sound we call the bottom. So top or bottom, it depends if you're thinking pitch or position of string in physical 3D reality. But anyways, I'm making it more complicated. This example S is simply thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, 6, 3, 4, 2. Both R and S you should get incredibly comfortable with. As I mentioned in the text, this PQRS is your bread and butter, and you want to be able to just masterfully be able to play these, have a conversation. Literally, I keep saying this, have a songbook, like a literal book, right? Print things out, have the chords. I have a Hank Williams songbook on my website, a Johnny Cash songbook. Not that there's a lot of songs in there, but it's enough to just look at. If you don't know what to do, create a little playlist, hit play. You're going to have 5 songs that play in a row. Pick a pattern, maybe play that pattern through all 4 of them, or pick one pattern, play through all the changes in the song using that same pattern, and that's how you're going to get good, and you're going to have fun while you do it, and it's going to be musical and enjoyable, so I really recommend you do that. Top of page 45 here. The concept is we got 1 and 2, 3, 4 and how can we mess with this rhythm just by changing where we're doing I or M. So we got 4 examples here. The first one is this. It's all middle. Thumb, middle, thumb, 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 middle. Next one is doing the pointer finger, finger I, but only on the 3rd string. So P, I, P, 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 I. Now we can mix them up. The first one I'll do first one I'll do M on the 2nd string. Then on the and beat 4, I'll do I on the 3rd string, and I get this in the 3rd example. Then the 4th one, vary that up, and the first one's going to be the I. So P, I, P, 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 M. So all this cool variety just by switching which order we do it. So let's play each one twice. 3, 4. Again. And then do the next one. 3rd one. And the 4th one. Example T, we're just thinking through how can we pinch beat 3? How can we vary this up? Same rhythm, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. How else can we play with it? So here we go in T. I've got thumb, middle, thumb, then pinch with my pointer. Thumb, pointer again. Thumb, middle, thumb, pinch with the pointer. Thumb, pointer. Example U. We're going to have P, I, P, pinch with the middle, P, M. P, I, P, pinch with the middle, P, M. Example V, we have a pinch on beat 1, pinch with the middle, and then immediately to the index finger there. So 1 and 2, that's pinch and thumb, 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 index. PM on the beginning, index, thumb. 3, 4. Thumb, thumb, index. Repeated. It's really pretty. Example W, we're going to pinch on 4. So here we have P, I, P, then pinch with the middle, right back to I. P, I, P, thumb, pinch with middle, I. Remember, just because you see me play it doesn't mean you're going to be able to play it. You got to learn these things, take it slow, make sure you're looking at the tabs, the fingerings. And we'll talk about this soon, but just start with your thumb and build one note at a time. It's a great way to practice. Go slow, and if you can't keep up with me, I'm here so you can. It's something to strive towards, right? Like that's what I'm not expecting it to sound like that now, depending on your skill level. Maybe that's several months away, but that's what it is going to sound like at the end, and I know you can do it if you keep going slow and keep working through this book. Example X, you can pinch on multiple beats, right? Here we have a pinch on 1 and 2, and I'm going to do thumb and middle, the index in between, then thumb and middle on beat 2. That might feel a little weird at first because it's a lot of right hand motion. Thumb and middle, index, thumb and middle. And the ending's just 3, 4, and with the index. 3, 4. Pretty, and here's Y. You can pinch on every single one if you wanted to. So example Y. Really full sound. So I'm pinching P with I, then hitting the middle finger, pinching P with I. So that's just the beginning. Pinch and 2. P, I, M alone, P, I again. Second half of the measure is pinching P and M, then P and I, then M alone. I guess the rhythm there is 3, 4, and 3, 4, and. So the whole thing in Y, 3, 4. Z. Now guys, I'm not expecting you to memorize all this stuff and to be able to play all of it, but I want to make sure you understand the foundations of fingerpicking these trifecta patterns, right? You can take any rhythm and manipulate them to your heart's desire, and you should be doing that. And like I said, but if you get that bread and butter really good, all of these are going to come easier. So don't feel overwhelmed, but I do want to give you the foundations. So you shouldn't be able to do all these right off the bat. But as you get more confident, you'll know how to dig in on your own to create your own patterns, and you'll understand the building blocks of fingerpicking, so you never feel like you're stuck in a rut, because you always have this stuff to go back to. Spend 5 minutes being creative, even if you're just sitting there with numbers. All right, I could do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I could pinch on 2. I could pinch here. I could do this with the middle finger, that with the index. And you could do this all day. You can come up with so much variety of patterns, right? And this has nothing to do with even changing the chords or the melody notes yet. So you can have a lot of fun with this stuff. So let's take a look at Z. Look at all of these variations we have with just 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. I'm just going to keep these 2 strings. I'm going to always do my middle on the 2nd string and always my index on the 3rd. And even without tab, right? Like you want to be able to fingerpick without a tab in front of you. So this is a great way to start doing that. I'm always going to do a G chord. Middle's always on the 2nd string. Pointer's always on the 3rd. And check out this first one in example Z. I have a pinch, pinch and thumb, thumb, thumb and it would look like this. Example 2, the only thing that changes is after the pinch, I'm going to do my middle finger instead of the pointer, instead of the index again. So it's 3, 4, pinch, middle, thumb, 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 and pinch, middle, thumb, 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 and there we go. The third one here is going to be P-I, and then another I. So pinch, index, thumb, 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 middle. Here, I'm going to pinch at the middle finger first, middle, and then in middle right after it. After that, it could start the same, but I could end on with the index finger. Second to last looks like this. Pinch with the middle, followed by an index finger. Oops, sorry. Pinch with the middle, followed by an index. Then middle again. And then the final one here, I could do P with M. Index, thumb, 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 index. Anytime you don't have to double up with like a quick II or quick MM, it's a little bit easier on the hands. Now check out all these we have in example AA. What we're doing here, exact same rhythm, but we're going to have the pinch on beat 2. And check out all of these combinations again. So the first one here is P-I pinch, thumb, thumb, I, P-I pinch. Then the second one is going to be P-I pinch, thumb, thumb, middle, right? Almost identical, except we end with the middle finger there. So 3, 4. The third one here, thumb, middle, pinch with the index, thumb, thumb, middle. Let's do one more. It's PM, pinch with I. Then back to I. I like that one too. Not going to play through all of them. You get the idea, right? One stagnant, stationary chord just doing simple adjustments to that right hand, and you get quite different rhythmic feels and melodic things happening. We're at assignment 3 in the put it into practice section here. This is very important. So what we're doing is we're taking from pattern R, one of our bread and butter patterns, and we're going to change it over string sets. Now this is going to be super important for what I was talking about earlier, how you want to take a pattern and play it over different songs. So if we have this pattern P, N, P, I, P, N, P, I, just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. I can play that on any chord, and what I have to do is just simply change the string set. So if I go to a C chord, instead of doing 6 to 4, on a C chord my thumb is doing 5 to 3, but I can still keep my middle finger on the 2nd string, and still keep my pointer finger, my index finger on the 3rd. So it's simply thumb, middle, thumb, index. So the right hand movement is exactly the same. I know there's like the thumb's closer together than it was on the G, but it's still the same thing. P, M, P, I, P, M, P, I. If I go back to the G, right? P, M, P, I. So a little adjustment with what the thumb is doing, but this is what you want to be ironing out and really getting good at. Then on a D chord, I do actually have to shift these. So my thumb's now going to go down 4 to 3. And now my middle finger shifts down where it's on the 1st string, and my index finger is on the 2nd. So instead of being here and here, I just shift them down a little bit, like that. And I have P, N, P, I, P, N, P, I. So this whole thing, 3, 4, G chord, P, N, P, I. Same thing on a C, P, N, P, I, to the D. You can play through all sorts of songs with all the different patterns in this section above. Get those bread and butters sounding awesome. Get a playlist, 6 songs, get to work. Accents, example B, B. We are putting a heavy number 2, right? Thumb, pinch, stagger it. Thumb, pinch, stagger it. Example CC, similar, but it's beat 3, that's heavy. Thumb, thumb, pinch and thumb, 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 pinch and thumb. Eventually you don't have to exaggerate it so much. Right? Some accents can be way more subtle than other ones. But at the beginning, do it loud just so your body is getting used to it. And a lot of people underplay it a little bit too much. I want it a little bit more. I want to make sure it's there. Make sure you have that control over your fingers to punch them loud, go back to soft, but still have perfect control and a tight tempo. Here's DD with an accent on the 1st beat. We're still on a C chord here. Right, it has more feel and emotion already just with that one dynamic in there. The whole thing has shape to it now. Example EE, we're accenting the 4th beat. To me, I know dynamics, it seems real simple, but like that to me just like transforms it entirely and gives it like a whole new dimension, right? You feel like you're looking at a flat painting, and then boom, you put that dynamic in there, and all of a sudden you're doing one of those things where you got to cross your eyes, and the weird calendar jumps out at you, and it's like it actually had a hidden dinosaur that you didn't know it was there. It just looked like scribbles. What do they call those? You know what I'm talking about. That's the same effect that a dynamic has, right? You can have this simple pattern, and that's fine, but it jumps off the page at you. FF, we can accent upbeats, and this is a little harder, so it'll take you some time, but man, is it really cool, and you start to get that syncopated feel. So on an E chord, I'm going to hit that and beat really hard. Stagger it, stagger it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I will love you, no one else. I will love you, no one else. Can you see that dinosaur jumping off the page? Yeah, you can't yet. GG is similar, but we're accenting the and of the third beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you can accent multiple beats in a measure, 2, even 3, 4. You know, it gets a little harder to control, but you can do it. Here we're going to put an accent on beat 1 and then the and of beat 3. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Stagger it and stagger it. Blaze Foley loves pumpkin pie. Blaze Foley loves pumpkin pie. 3, 4. Notice that and after beat 3 is like a softer accent, or you can have a strong accent, which was at beat 1, and then a weaker accent. And here is I. We got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Man, is that stuff not easy, but going to make you such an expressive player. Now, don't worry, that is definitely more advanced, but I wanted to whet your appetite on that. Definitely having one strong accent, even just doing that, is really going to make your playing pop, and you're going to start sounding less amateur and just more awesome and tight and good. All right, your next study piece, Trifecta patterns and accents. Or something about goblins in the cupboard. I don't remember what we named this one. Here we go. This isn't really a study piece, though. What you're doing is you just want to get good at all these measures and start applying them to different songs in your songbook. So let's look at pattern A, which is the first measure in this study piece here. Thumb, pinch, thumb, and middle. Thumb, pointer, thumb. Awesome bread and butter pattern. Run that through some chord changes. B7, right? Any of these you should take and run with, but also realize how easy they are to tweak. So if the second measure is just flipped, thumb, pinch, thumb, and middle. So that was pattern A. B, here's pattern C, right? Still on the C chord. It's thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. We ran through these already in the book, and then pattern D is the opposite. Thumb, pointer, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle. So just the opposite. But here I want to show you how all of these can be applied to different chords. So here's a C chord, but we can do the same pattern, pattern A, like it was in measure 1 on a C chord. But note how my thumb is going to skip, right? Lots of ways to do this. We talked about this when we just did the thumb. We could do 5 to 4. We could do 5 to 3. That's what I'm doing here. And it's thumb, pinch, thumb, in the middle. Thumb, index, thumb, thumb, pinch, thumb, in the middle. That's a great one to try on different chords. Measure 6 is pattern B. Thumb, pinch P with I. And then thumb, middle, thumb. Pattern C. Thumb, middle, thumb, index. Pattern D is the opposite, where it's thumb, index, thumb, middle. All of these should feel good through different chords. That's the whole point of this study piece, to pick one of these patterns, digest it, play it over different chord changes. Then when you get good, we already talked about this, but just so you have it in one place to think through all of it and in a nice clean tab. Measure 10 is with accents. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, I'm back on that E chord, pinching beat 2. I can pinch beat 3. I can pinch beat 4. I can pinch beat 1. I don't know why I did beat 1 last, but there we have it. And we can explore all those over different chord changes. Now let's move to a C chord just to switch it up. I'm jumping from 5 to 3. And to measure 16, I'm going to accent an and beat, the and of beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Here 17 is a little different. Thumb, pinch, thumb, and thumb. Now I can add an accent to the and of the first beat, 1 and 2 and with that quicker pattern. So we're just exploring our bread and butter and adding dynamics to it. Here we have the and on beat 2 accented. Measure 21, let's switch it up to a G chord, and we can have 2 accents on the and of 1 and on 4. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Measure 22, beat 1 has an accent, and the and of beat 2, 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 3, 4. Look at this. Measure 23, I just caught an error. But it's already in print, guys, sorry. So I would just change the accent. Instead of doing 1 and 2 and, again, maybe put the accent on 1 and 4. 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 4. 1 and 2 and then measure 24. 1 and 2 and 3. 4. 1 and 2 and 3. That one's kind of tricky. 1 and 2 and 3. Stuff, again, really going to develop your nuance as a player, your ability to control dynamic, and you're just going to learn things quicker because it's not easy. This uses a lot of brain power. And now that you've done this hard work, the next study piece we'll get to in a minute is going to be Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice, and it's going to feel easy in comparison to some of those hard accents. So we're slowly building, and you're going to be playing some cool stuff real soon. Shaboom! Outfit change. All right, let's do the video demo for the Put It Into Practice section here under where I did Doctor My Eyes by Jackson Browne. So what we're doing here is we got a G chord. I'm doing thumb on 6, then a heavy thumb where I'm brushing 4 and 3. Or you could do 6, and that could also be a pinch. So 2 ways to approach that, whichever one you're more comfortable with. We got those 2 notes there. Then we do that again, 6, pinch 4 and 3. And my middle finger hits the 2nd string. 1, the heavy thumb, or the other way. Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears. Da-dum-bum-bum. Troubleshooting number 5, how to practice. This might be the most important thing in this interactive ebook, so make note of it and start applying it today with everything you are practicing and working on. So here we have this example measure, which is kind of tricky. But without even learning it, before getting lost in trying to do it all at once, let's break it down and slowly learn the thing bit by bit so our brain actually has a chance to grasp it. Step 1 is always isolate the thumb. So my thumb is just going to be doing 5/4, implying that C chord. And you want to get really good at that. Like I said at the beginning, can you have a conversation? Can you talk to somebody? And then only then do we go to step 2 here, where I'm going to pinch thumb, and we're actually going to do pointer finger, because if we look ahead, we're going to need our middle finger on the first string. So thumb alone, then I'm pinching 3 and 2, thumb and pointer. And that's it. But instead of stopping on like the second beat, I'm going to do the thumb all the way through and only play the first melody note there. So it looks like that. And maybe you're doing something funky, or you prepping that pointer in time. Once I get really good at that, and only when I'm good at that, do I do the second melody note. And this is called step 3, but we got the thumb, first melody note, second melody note. So I'm going to, right after that pinch, my middle finger is going to execute open on the first string. And it's followed up by thumb, thumb. And maybe there's something sticky here that you're having trouble with. Get that pinch ready. And then the moment I pinch, right, I'm doing the prep work. My middle finger's already touching right after the moment I pinch, my finger touches, so it's prepared. Then I go right back to the thumb and finish with the thumb. And if I'm doing strict prep work, it sounds way more staccato. And it's a great time to practice your prep work. So everything's getting there quickly and smoothly. Then step 4 is you simply add the third melody note. I know talking in steps is confusing, but just know, isolate the thumb, and then you're just building one melody note at a time. It's that simple. So let's keep going here so you can see the next one. That one's kind of tricky, because after this part, I go to the thumb, and then I'm going to put my pinky down on that top string, and I'm playing that with my middle finger. So it's thumb, thumb and pointer, directly to the middle, back to the thumb, and then I have to go back to the first string with my middle, and that pinky is down. Then finish with the thumb. Here's strict prep work. And then when you get it a little better, the final melody note, and then when I pinch, the last one isn't just a thumb, it's a pinch, so I have to lift that left hand pinky, and I'm pinching 4 and 1. So this is step 5 in the ebook. So 3, 4. If you're spending ample time on each one of those, maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe a week, I don't know what skill level you're at, but I promise you, you're going to make such quicker gains by using that method of learning. And not only that, but you have command over so much more material now. Like sometimes you'll have this problem where you can play a measure all the way through, and then if you isolate just the beginning of it, your like brain farts out and you can't do it. So this is a great way not only to learn the complete measure, but to have mastery over all the little elements of the measure. Don't overlook this technique, or whatever you want to call it. It's just such a great way to learn before you start practicing. Incorporate it. Example JJ, where we start off with some daisy chains. So we have 2 of our bread and butter patterns, and we're combining them one after the other. So 2, 3, 4, thumb, pinch, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. So that first one I'm pinching with my middle on beat 2, and it's a pointer finger there. And then after that, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. We've seen these both before, so let's put them together now. 3, 4. Once you feel good, maybe switch the chord to like an A. KK is just JJ with an accent. So the first measure, we're going to accent beat 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Second measure, we're going to accent the and of beat 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Don't Think Twice study piece. This is awesome. We're taking some daisy chains and putting it into real awesome practical application here. So there's only a few measures I'm going to break down before we just start playing it. Remember, once we hit measure 13, we've got an inversion. It's a D7 with the F sharp and the bass. Sorry, D7 with the F sharp and the bass. It's going to look like that. Then in measure 15 is probably the hardest part. We have a walk up, so we're jumping ahead a little bit because we're doing some left hand, incorporating some left hand movement on these chords. So a G chord is just this. When we go to the G6, my middle finger is going down on the 2nd fret of the D string. Then the G7, I'm going to put the pinky down. That's going to feel weird. The pinky's down on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Might feel a little awkward for some of you guys. But there's that little cool walk up there. Add the middle finger, add the pinky. Actually, before we dive in, just make a note also on that walk up from the G6 to G7, we kind of break the daisy chain pattern to execute the walk up. So we have 2 measures in a row of that other pattern, or 3 if you're counting measure 14. But you'll see it, you'll get it. So let's take this from the top, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Accents, even cooler. Same rhythm, middle finger down, pinky down. Then the chorus. C7, add your pinky. Sorry, I missed the bass. Just for fun, at the end I threw that C with the G and the bass, and it snuck up on me in measure 29. That is the idea. Go get it. A real quick note on that. As I'm playing it, just to be honest with my performance, like if I'm in measure, let's say measure 8, and I'm playing a G7, right here, I might do a little open string cheat. So in other words, to play that last one, it can be quite difficult to then quickly get to the next C chord. And if you've ever watched any of my tutorials, you know the common trick is to just cheat, and instead of playing that G7 note, you're just going to switch to open before and let that very final note. Right, so it's written as an F, but when you're really playing up to speed, you're often just going to cheat out of the chord and play the note from the next chord, just so you don't have to quickly get there. Sometimes you're playing so fast it's almost impossible to change the chord to speed. So I call that the open string cheat. Right, where I'm playing that open E instead of the F, just so I can get to the chord quicker. Example LL, putting some accents on the 3rd beat. 2, 3, 4. Example MM, 3-string thumbing. So on a C chord, I'm doing 5, 4, 3, 4. Remember, can you talk? Can you have a conversation? This may take some time to get comfortable under your belt. My brain kind of frames this as low, high, middle, high. Low, high, middle, high, low, high, middle, high. On a G chord, we can do, here's one example, number 2. We could do 6, 4, 5, 4. Of course, not the only way to 3-string thumb a G chord. Example 3. 3 here in MM is probably the most common one. Love this one. Classic folk country one. I'm doing 5/4 and 6/4. And note that technically, you know, this is a C inversion because the lowest note is a G. There's 2 ways to do it. One is to walk that finger. This will give you freedom to add the pinky to other melody notes. But if it's a real simple pattern, what I do is I just paste this ring finger on that low string, then the pinky takes its spot. I call it the big C. And then you don't have to move anything. And then example 4 is a D chord going from 4/3, then 5/3. So it's like middle, high, low, high. This might feel a little funny at first. I mean, I know it's the same as the last one, but there's something about doing it up higher, starting on that D and then going down to the A, that feels a bit unique. And we got 3-note thumbing over some cool patterns with an accent. So let's play example 1 under NN. Our thumb's going 5/4-3/4, 5/4-3/4, and we got some index finger hits in between. Thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb, pointer, thumb. If I got the accent, example 2 is a G chord, starting off with a pinch with my middle finger on 6 and 2, thumbs on 4, pointer on 3, then thumbs on 5, straight to middle, thumb on 4, pointer to 3. A lot of motion in this one. So again, break down the thumb, do that alone, add 1 melody note at a time until you get it, where you can play it with me. 3, 4. Example 3, C major chord, where we got that fun country walking bass thumb. And you can do the big C here. Just putting the middle finger in between them. Thumb, middle, thumb, thumb, middle, thumb, thumb, middle, thumb. Example 4 is the D chord, also that same middle, high, low, high pattern. 4/3/5/3. Try to trip you up with a pinch at the end, so it's thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, a real low thumb on the 5th string, thumb, middle, then I'm going to pinch the 2nd and 3rd string with thumb and pointer. So learn it before you practice it, then try it with me. 3, 4. Do those accents make it difficult. 00. Let's have some fun here, kind of borrowing from the classical world or the crossover world of Fionn Regan. This is a lot of fun. So now the consistent element isn't really our thumb pounding away, it's this pointer finger playing the 3rd string. So the whole thing though is going to be just thumb pointer, and it's open 3, then to the 5th string, open 2, 3, 2, open, back to the 6th string, 3, 3, 4. And when you get these up to speed, you can have really cool effect. Example PP, just to trip you up. I've made that one a little harder, but it's the same as above, except we're now doing thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb, middle, pointer, thumb, middle. That's a lot cooler and a lot harder, so take it slow. 3, 4, but once you kind of learn it. dreaded waltz. Here's QQ on a C chord. We're doing 5, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3. Remember, in waltzes, typically the strong beat's on beat 1. Of course, there's exceptions, but this is a great way to just frame it in your mind. 1, 2, 3, dip, 2, 3, waltz, 2, 3. Then on the G chord, you can do 6, 4, 4. This is example 2 here. Example 3 is you can just ascend the staircase, right? Get higher and higher each time. Example 4, you do low, high, middle. So it's 6, 4, 3, boom. Now one that's a little less common is number 5. Doing 5, 5, 3. So low, low, high. Example RR, let's get these waltzes going. Thumb, thumb, pointer, thumb, pointer. Really pretty stuff though. Example 2 on a G chord, I can do thumb, middle, then thumb, pointer, thumb. And it's 1 and 2 and 3. Thumb, middle, thumb, pointer, thumb. Example 3, so that third pattern, that ascending one, let's add some melody to that. I'm going to pinch the first beat, and then I'll do a middle and a middle. Pinch, thumb, middle, and the middle's on the top string. 3, 4. Example 4, we got that G chord doing 6, 4, 5. Gonna put the middle in between the first couple. Middle, middle, then do the pointer finger after the 5th string note. 3, 4. Example 5, with the thumb doing 5, 5, 3, I'm going to do thumb, pinch, and then pinch. Real strange one. So thumb, pinch, thumb, and pointer, pinch, thumb, and middle. Just showing you some weird ones that kind of break your traditional 3-4 feel. 3, 4. Work on that one. The heavy thumb SS. I mentioned this earlier with my little doctor my eyes thing, but now we're gonna discuss it here and really break it down. So the heavy thumb, playing 5. Normally this pattern, if we just ignore everything, it kind of looks like the pattern is 5, 4, 6, 4, right, on a C chord. I'm doing the big C here. Where you could approach it by doing pinches. That can be a lot of work, and it doesn't have the same sound. Like if you want to get good at John Hurt and some of these blues guys, Doc Watson too, you really gotta get that heavy thumb down. So I do 5, and then instead of just hitting 4, I'm almost brushing as if I was strumming, right? And I'm just strumming the string under it. It's okay if you go down a little further and also hit the 2 strings under the one you're aiming at. You don't have to be super precise. But aim for just the 2 of them. And my kind of wrist does shift a little bit here. Or I shouldn't say my wrist, but like the angle of my hand does go down a little bit to make that brush. Because if I keep it here, I can't help but make that super loud, which is going to be fine sometimes. But if I want to keep it gentle, I put a slight angle to it. I don't want to encourage like too much, but I just let my hand roll a little bit so that it's easier for my thumb to get that brush going. And of course, it's a very different experience when you palm mute it and have some of your flesh down. Then you can really attack it and not change the angle of your attack. So example 2 under SS is the same thing on a G chord, 6, heavy thumb on 4. Example 3 is an E major. This will happen a lot in old blues songs where they're just banging away. What we're just trying here, we'll build there, but it's heavy thumb and then your pointer finger. And again, it's okay, I don't have to exactly hit 6 and 5. If you brush 4, that's okay. Let's look at this. Now we got the heavy thumb, but incorporated with it is all sorts of fun stuff. So here's example 1 under TT. C chord, you can do the big C chord. 5, heavy thumb, straight to the pointer finger. Then it's 6, 1, heavy thumb. 2, 3, 4. Here I'm giving it a swing feel. Example 2, we got a G chord, and I'm doing thumb, pointer, heavy thumb, so it's 6, 2, heavy thumb on 4, and then it's going to be 5, heavy thumb, and back to 2 with the pointer. This is the kind of stuff that's really cool because when you hear that recorded, you're just like, what are they doing? Are they strumming the guitar? What's with that little high end in there? They're getting the bass. It just has a really cool effect, and it can be hard to tell what's going on, and that's what's awesome about it. It gives this illusion of like a lot happening. Example 3, back to that blues idea where I got a heavy thumb, then I can snag the high string with your middle or index really, then my thumb goes to the 3rd string. So we have a big distinction between beat 1 and beat 2, beat 3 and 4, low, high. You can be as creative as you want with all this stuff. Last note on heavy thumb, there's really no way to notate it, and it's up to you. So there's no moment where it's like you should absolutely do a heavy thumb here. You can always do a bigger pinch if you want to. It's kind of based on feel, and just listen to how hard the attack is. Usually when it's more heavy, when it's harder, hence the heavy thumb name, right? It's like a really big hit. Not that I can't pinch it heavy, and some players do that, but it's kind of up to you. It's context dependent. Sometimes it's just going to be easier with the heavy thumb. Other times it won't be. Left hand melody making. If you haven't been having fun already, this should do it for you. So here at the top of the section is just the G major scale. Got open on the 3rd string, do, 2nd fret, and I'm using my middle finger there. O 2, O 1 3, O 2 3, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Play it backwards, and put that thing to memory. Let's put this melody making into practice, and we're going to pay careful attention to what's happening with the left hand, because when you normally play a scale, you're going to do it one way, but when you're playing a chord, you're going to play it a different way. And depending on which chord you're playing, you're going to have to play some of those melody notes with different fingers, depending on what you're doing. So let's talk through it. On a G chord, at least, we can, our thumb's just going to be doing 6/4, so let's get that down solid. Then from there, we're going to pinch the first melody note. 6, and the 3rd string is open. That's our first note of the G major scale, do. Then my thumb's alone on the 4th string. Then I'm going to pinch the 2nd melody note. So I have to put that middle finger down to get do, re, right, the A there. So it's my middle finger. I'm still playing a G chord though. Pinch the 1st melody note, pinch the 2nd one. Now the 3rd melody note is open on the 2nd string, so that's easy enough. I can lift that middle finger up now and just play normal G, thumb alone. Then the 4th melody note is the 1st fret here, and I'm going to use my pointer finger. So I got open, put my middle finger down for the 2nd fret, open, put my pointer finger down for the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. But it keeps going. Now I have to put my pinky down to get that melody note, right? 3rd fret on the 2nd string is the pinky. Then I can lift it open. Now this is the odd one, that 7th scale degree. We got to get the 2nd fret here on the high E string. For me, I can do this stretch, right? I can get it with my middle finger. A lot of players find that stretch hard, especially on a wider necked guitar or a classical guitar. The bigger scale length, that's going to be trickier, or whatever, nut and saddle length. And then the last one is with my pinky. So if you, sorry, I jumped ahead. If you can't do this with your middle finger, it's okay to cheat your pointer finger over. You don't lose points for that. As you get better at this kind of stuff, you'll be able to do it. So if we do the whole thing, we have open. 2nd fret is my middle finger. Open. 1st fret is my pointer. Pinky does the 3rd fret. Open again. 2nd fret with either middle or pointer. And the last one is pinky, like a normal G chord would be. Let's do it from the top. 3, 4. And this speed might be something that you have to work for, right? I'm not expecting you to play this with me. This isn't a tutorial necessarily here. But if you can't do it, maybe it takes you a few weeks to be able to play with me, and then even faster. Let's work that thing backwards. So I'm going to start with my pinky on that top string, 3rd fret. Then I'm moving down to my middle finger. Again, if pointer's easier for you, that's okay. Then lift it to open. Now I shift to the 2nd string. My pinky goes down 3rd fret on the 2nd string. 1st fret with my pointer. Open. Middle finger to 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Then lift it. Do, ti, la, so. Fretboard really starts to open up for you, and you can color any chord in a variety of ways with this whole left hand melody making idea. We can just stagger that whole melody idea. What I mean by that is instead of pinches, we just have thumb, pointer, thumb, and that's the melody note in between thumb, pointer, thumb. Then add the 2nd note of the scale, add the 3rd, 4th, pinky. You can, when you go to the top string, you can switch to the middle finger if that's easier. Then the 2nd fret. 3, 4, thumb, pointer, thumb. 2nd melody note. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Example XX. So in a moment you're going to write your own melody, but my melody was this. It's open to open on the 3rd string, then open on the 2nd. O to O, open. And let's put that on top of a G chord. So our thumb is going to be doing 6 and 3. And we're going to take our melody and put it on this G chord. So notice here I have a pinch, I have another pinch, I gotta put my middle finger down on this 2nd pinch. Then immediately lift that middle finger and play that string again. We'll talk about alternate picking, but let's do this all with the pointer finger for now. Then I pinch thumb and middle here. With thumb alone. Pinch, pinch, and pinch. And here is is the second kind of example under XX that makes it quite trickier. Like I was talking about, if I'm going to play 6 to 5, then I need this middle finger, which means my pointer finger now has to do that melody, getting tucked under there on the 2nd fret. 3, 4. Here's the example right under XX, kind of an aside, but if that idea of playing like a really quick pointer finger is hard, this is where you create your own study piece and exhaust the idea. So I could do it all with middle finger, just pinch and pinch and pinch, and that's my middle finger relentlessly firing away. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Do the same thing on a G chord, thumb going from 6 to 4. And I'm just relentless with my pointer finger on the 3rd string. That'll help build both of those up to speed. Get the idea. Page 90, we're still working on our little melody, but let's put it inside of, instead of a G chord, put it on a C chord now. So I got the C chord set up. Note that we don't need this pointer finger. So we're going to use that pointer finger to sneak over and do that 2nd fret again. Because we can't use our middle, well, we could use our middle finger, but not really, because you'd have to flatten the whole thing and bar it, and it'd be really confusing. So because we're not playing the 1st fret, we're going to use that pointer finger to snag that 2nd fret. 3, 4. So same rhythm. Everything is before, but it's on a C chord. Top of page 91, we're going to put that melody over a D chord. And here you're going to run into some problems, because if we did it as a normal D, like trying to go from 4 to 3, first off, right at the beginning, you kind of have to lift it because you got double opens. Then your thumb's got to play 2, but then you're back to the melody on open. Then you're pinching them both open. The thumb just gets in the way of the melody, and it doesn't work anymore because the melody and the bass part are colliding. So here, we'll do that cool D with an F sharp in the bass. Now I know this version on the right here in the tab doesn't really look like a D chord, but this happens all the time. If you isolate that thumb, it's F sharp going to a D. A few ways to do it. You could do the thumb over the top. Sounds really dark when it's in context of the other chords. It'll be all right. So you can do it that way, or you can put your pointer finger there. That means your melody is being played with the middle finger. Or I could put my middle finger here, which means my melody is being played with my ring finger. And I can do all of them. There's no right or wrong, whatever comes easiest to you. But now let's play it slow. 3, 4. Let's put all 3 of those chords together, and we got our own little song on page 92. Let's do this. 3, 4. That section was a lot, so spend a lot of time on the study piece. I'll talk you through that. We'll revisit some of this creative writing, and we'll just go through it one more time. So here is our big G major Travis Picking doc, right? You can download the PDF, or it's on page 93 in our ebook. The first couple of measures, I'm just showing you different ways to imply the G chord, right? We can go from 6 to 4. We can go from 6 to 3. We can do 6 to 5. All of them are fair game. We got our G major scale that we discussed. Going back down. Now we'll move move on here in measure 8. We already talked about this, when we're pinching through every note of the major scale, while our thumb just implies a G chord. Right, because every note in the scale is fair game. Then we can descend it. We didn't do this yet. We can still pinch, but we can pinch on beats 2 and 4 instead of 1 and 3. So this will be measure 16 in the dock. 3, 4, thumb, pinch. Then the next melody note, pinch. We can do the same thing descending. Measure 24, we syncopate it. Thumb and thumb, thumb and thumb. 2, 3, 4. We can descend it. These are just awesome to practice. Great for your picking hand, great for your rhythm. Great for your left hand too. Getting several birds with one stone here. And here in measure 32, I'm going to pinch every melody note twice before moving on, but I'm going to do a pinch literally on every beat. So it's pinch, pinch, then at the next melody note, re, re, mi, mi, fa, fa. This one feels a little bit goofy, but it's really good practice too. Once you get better at that, you can move your left hand more quickly and only pinch each melody note once. Let's count it. 3, 4. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. In measure 44, I've created another little melody just to switch it up. In the assignments, you'll have plenty of opportunity to do these. I encourage you to do one as often as you think of doing one, but definitely do several at least over the next coming months here. So just created a simple melody out of the G major scale. Then take the time to think through the scale as you play it. I like this better than the one I used in the text of the book. Prettier first example. This one's better. So after we have that melody in G, you could put it over any chord in the key of G. So that's what happens here in measure 46 of this PDF here. We have G major, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished. I do a minor 7 flat 5. Don't worry about that in this ebook. So those are all the chords in the key of G. If you're curious about the theory, I have a Music Theory 101, and I have a great video wrangling with the G major scale. Check out one of those if you want to learn the theory. Before we continue with that little melody, what I did in the side here was just to show you that you can run the whole G major scale on any of those chords. Right, so now I could play a C chord but still run the G major scale, right? Because the C chord is a 4 chord in the key, right? Of course you're going to go to a C chord when the song's in G. That happens in every John Prine song. So you practice running that G major scale while thumbing a C chord. Be a whole nother way of practice, right? It's really limitless with all these things you can try and come up with. But in measure 53, to continue with the little melody, we're going to do that C chord on that same melody. Oh, sorry. Let me get in the groove. There it is. 3, 4. Back to the G. And the next measure here, it shows you the D with the F sharp and the bass. I'm just doing my thumb over the top, but you can do your middle finger. Pinky, pointer, ring gets there. It'd be hard to do the pointer finger because you can't really get the first fret. You kind of get stuck. So do the middle or do your thumb over the top. But even if you wanted to double back, you could even practice doing the G major scale, implying a D chord. I know that one's a little more dissonant when you hang out on it too long. But if we go to 58, we got another cool little study piece that we just made together. It's like an intro to a song. 3, 4. Do that again. Go to a C chord. Back to the G. Have fun making your own melodies, write them down, and figure out how to Travis pick your cool little melodies, and you'll have an awesome intro. Send it to me on the Discord. I'd love to hear it. Hammer-ons. Here are some important notes, and we'll talk about how to run the gauntlet of hammer-ons. But what we're after is precision, not just brunt force. So if I'm hammering open to my pointer finger, I'm aiming for right next to the fret, and I want it to be snappy. You can still have it be fairly light. Of course, we need some amount of strength. But kind of pretend you're aiming for like the wall behind you. Like you're trying to get further back than you need to. So it's about the snappiness, the speed of that snappiness, and the precision. Not necessarily like trying to like use all your strength, but we want it quick and precise. And of course, you can do the whole thing fast, or right, you can let the first note linger longer. Same idea with your middle finger. Practice open to 2. These open strings are going to make it easier at first. So do open strings to all the different fingers. Open to 3, then open to 4. Yeah, I know, the pinky, sorry. And you can do it on any string and any fret that you want. Just kind of play around, have fun, and go slow. Obviously, you need a clearer sound on the acoustic when you're down low. Here is running the gauntlet. If those open finger hammer-ons already feel tough, don't overdo it. Take your time, but this is what running the gauntlet is going to look like. You'll pick 1 to 2, and let's just start on the 5th fret, just to vary it up. Everyone feels like they need to do it here, but you can do it anywhere. I'll start on the 5th fret. And I'm going to do this 1 to 2. The only thing different here, it's going to be harder just because it's 2 fingers. The only thing to note is some guys, well, depending on the context, you'll keep that pointer finger down. Like if I have to go back to it, or depending what I'm playing, like a trill. Other times, right after you do the hammer, I kind of lift that one. Right, it lifts. So there's no like hard rule here because it just depends what's coming next. But it's just something to keep in mind. So if I'm running the gauntlet, start small. Maybe you're only going to do 4 frets, so I do 5 to 6. And again, pick your own tempo. I don't want you to rush this. Then I just go up with the same fingers. I'm still doing 1 to 2. But if I move up, then it's just something to count. Then I'm going to go up 1 more, so then I've done 4 frets. Then I'll do 1 to 3, so that's going to be pointer to ring. Maybe you can swing feel it, move up a fret, long, short, move it up again. And maybe your pace is way slower, that's fine. After 1, 3, you're going to do 1, 4. I mean, 4 frets is already pretty tiring, huh? Not going to do all of them. Then after that would be 2 to 3. That's middle to ring. After that, it's 2 to 4. This is really hard. So take this stuff slow, but oh man, is it really gonna give your hand a lot of strength, a lot of finger independence. Don't overdo it, and look how straight my wrist is. That's often why I like prop it up when I'm doing a lot of practice. Because if I have this up on the left leg, look how straight that wrist is, right? I'm not bending like this to reach my guitar. Because when you start doing that intense stuff at a bad posture, oh man, you're looking for trouble. And then the last one, 3 to 4, which is ring to pinky. That one's also really hard. The pull off. I always explain this as we're shooting an arrow into the sky. The most common misconception about a pull off, or the reason people get a weak pull off, is because they're like lifting this way, just like off, straight off the guitar, horizontally or whatever, which is fine. You'll get a sound. It's just not going to be that clean. What I'm doing is a very quick tug down. So there's still that fast snappiness to it, but I'm ever so slightly pulling down on the string. So my follow through, notice how I go down, I don't like come out towards you. That's super weak. But if I pull down, so think about it for a split second, I'm like making it tight, right? I'm pulling down on that bowstring really quickly so that when I release it, the bow and arrow is going up into the air. That's gonna get you a loud pull off. Right, it can be slow, it can be fast. This pull off can be fast, the note can be slow. All sorts of ways to play with it. Make sure you can do every finger. Again, it would be a great idea to play around with volume too. Now keep in mind, if you pull down too far, you're gonna like pull off the string, or off the fretboard I mean. Or here you'll make a bending sound. Right? I don't want every one of your pull-offs to be a bend, so don't overdo that snappiness, right? We're pulling down, but really just for like a split second to get it really snappy. So you can do all the fingers, including the pinky. And then once those opens feel good, it's the same idea here with running the gauntlet. Pick to decide you're gonna go 4 frets, start wherever you want. I mean, you could start on the first one, which is kind of harder to reach. So you do 2, 1. And same thing here. If you want, you can put that finger down first, so it's ready. They kind of like both go down. But more common, I think, is you're actually, the moment I play this one, I'm about to pull off, and then the other one goes down. So I would do that. I'd move up a fret. Right, once you get good, you can kind of pick up some speed. But you get the idea. Go for a desired number of frets and go to the next one, which is 3, 1. Then you'd have 4, 1. You could have 4, 2. And then 4, 3. Oh man, are these tough. And then again, to get several birds with one stone, maybe decide to develop your middle finger. If you don't use your middle a lot, do all your hammer-on pull-off work just with your right hand only playing the middle finger for all of them. We'll talk about the ring finger later, but you can do it for that. Man, my ring finger is so inaccurate. I always think that the speed is the problem, but it's the accuracy. So back to the prep work. Let's put these pull-offs into common application. Here's the bottom of page 100 here. We're on that C chord. I got that classic Townes Van Zandt hammer on Tecumseh Valley, poncho and lefty, 5, 4, lift it up and hammer, or sorry, 5, 3, then lift it up and hammer on 4. Beautiful. Then a G chord, 6, 4, hammer on 5. And I'm hammering open to 2, just like I did on the previous one. We've got a D chord here in the third example. This one's a little more uncommon, but still really cool. I'm doing 4, 3, 4, 3. And I have the hammer there open to 2. Then on an E chord, I can go 6 to 4. I can do an open 2 hammer there. And here I'm doing it on the second beat instead of the fourth. And here's some more involved ones. On the bottom of page 101 here, we got a C chord where I can pull off from a sus chord. So I'm pulling off from 3 to 2 on the D string. And it's hard to get that clean because we're fretting all these strings. And so if you pull down too hard, you'll hit the G string. So you gotta find that sweet spot. Go slow with that one. Second example here. Pulling off of that G chord on the 5th string. 2 open. Example 3. It's like a D chord, but you kind of have to fret it different. Or don't even think of it as a D chord here. But I'm just showing that you can do this in all sorts of different contexts. And then example 4. I know I'm writing E chord, but give yourself the freedom to do it. The ring finger there. 4 to 2. let's put the hammer and pulls into the melody on top of our picking. So here is the example at the bottom of 102. Here's it without the hammer on. It's fine, nothing wrong with that. Each note is like clearly articulated, but now listen to it with a hammer on. So beautiful, so uniquely guitar. Delicate and nuanced hammers and pulls are just going to color your picking like nothing else. Here's the pull off on the top of page 103. Here's the example without it. Nice. And then here's it with a pull off. A little more flighty, more airy. Got another whole nother element in here. Now for our awesome study piece on hammer and pull-offs, I would take this measure by measure, learn it before you practice it, but it's cool. Let's do it. It's called How to Always Win at Everything in 3 Easy Steps. 3, 4. Sorry. Whole thing would repeat, and the ending. I need a break. My hand's getting tired. You should take a break too if you've been at it too hard. Stand up, run around, walk around. Check out Tim Anderson on Original Strength. Do some resets. Shaboom! Outfit change and totally different lighting color in here now. But let's get going on the giddy up. What's going to happen? Your brain is going to be confused with your fingers. So let's isolate. The right hand is just doing this. Thumb is doing 4 hits on the 4th string. And on the and of beat 3, I'm hitting the 1st string. You can do your pointer or your middle there. It doesn't really matter. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's got to feel real simple. And then nothing is changing in the right hand. But if you look at example 2, what I'm doing is I'm hammering on open to 2. The hard part is at the moment that that hammer on happens, the same exact moment I, boom, hammer on that 2, my thumb also hits the 4th string. And that's going to feel a little weird. 1, 2, 3, and together. 1, 2, 3, and together on the hammer and the thumb there. On page 108, let's put the giddy up into context. My thumb is hopping back and forth on a C chord, and it's on the end of beat 2 this time. 1, 2, and. So this is what the right hand looks like. But right after that and beat is when we have to slam the pinky down. 1, 2, and together. 1, 2, and together. Here, page 109, the giddy up can happen on any beat in all sorts of chordal contexts. So here's the first example. Then on the F chord, you kind of have to do the thumb over the top here to get that open to 2 hammer on. G chord. And then finally on the D chord. Now let's take a look at the Giddy Up study piece. Measure 1 we already went over. It's just getting the right hand really used to what's happening alone. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then measure 3, we're just adding to that. Gotta make sure that hammer is happening at the same time. 1, 2, 3, and together. So that thumb is tied to that hammer-on. Measure 5 is just changing the rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and then when that gets comfortable, you're just adding the hammer on there. 1, 2, and hammer. 1, 2, and hammer. Measure 6, we can do it, or measure 7, we can do it twice. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Thumb, middle, thumb, or it could be thumb, pointer, thumb. It's up to you. And then with all the giddy ups in there is measure 8. Giddy up after a giddy up. Again, the important thing to remember here is that this measure 8, the right hand is doing the exact same thing that it was doing in measure 7. Don't let that left hand confuse you that your right hand's got to do more or less. Measure 9, we just have fun, and we instead of doing open 2 at both times, the second one is 2, 3. You can do it even higher in measure 10. 3 to 5, 2 to 3. Measure 12 is just this thumb over the top F chord. Thumb's going from 6 to 4, and it's 6, 4, 3 with the pointer finger. Then we can add a giddy up there. Together, 1, 2, and together with the hammer. Then measure 14, we can add a note. I'm adding the middle finger, I do the giddy up, and then have a middle finger after that thumb. 2, pointer, thumb, and thumb. 1, 2, pointer, middle. And 15, we can even go back to that third string. 1, 2, giddy up, and 4, and 1, 2, giddy up, and 4, and now the culmination of all these giddy ups, this is going to be a lot of fun, starts in measure 17. Now this whole thing to the end is to be performed as one study. Going to be tricky, so again, learn each measure individually. When all those feel good, this is your challenge. Can you play this whole thing smooth? Let's see how we do here. For measure 17, 1, 2, 3, 4. Faster. Shikoo! Ha! Congrats, we made it to section 3 in the book. Just be well aware that you can play a lot of songs now. If you've made it this far in the book, your trifecta is sounding good, you got your bread and butter patterns down, you can do a giddy up. That's at least half of the Mike's Music Method catalog right there. So go learn some towns, go learn some Blaze Foley, go learn some John Prine, and put this stuff into action. And I would even say take a little break from the book. and apply it, right? We're here to make music, not just do little study pieces and exercises our whole lives. So put those to good work, and then if you're ready, that feels confident and good, let's get to some more advanced things. Top of page 115. If you were Merle Travis, you'd handle all that with your pointer finger. That gets tiring and it's hard. Another way to do it is to alternate I and M every time. I, M, I, M. And this is going to be hard at first, so make sure you're doing your prep work. The moment I play I, I'm prepping M. The moment I play M, my finger touches down on I. The moment I play I, my finger touches M. And we can do that on any string. Let me show you on the lower string, it's easier to see. The moment I play I, I'm prepping M on that same string. And the whole point of the prep is not only to get there, but another really important thing about prep work is to relax. So the moment I get there, I know I'm ready and I can relax. If you're not relaxing on prep work, you're probably only doing like 20% of what you can be getting out of the prep work idea. Right, the moment you play I, prepping M and relaxing. Occasionally maybe you're doing a speed burst, but you want to get that feeling really relaxed, no tension. You can just flip it and do it the other way, where you start with M and go to I. Now I know you might say, what's the difference? Well, when you get your thumb involved doing the bass note, it's going to feel very different. So just kind of make sure you're doing that as well. In YY, we take a G major scale and we do 3 different ways to alternate pick it. We can do I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, and then backwards. There I'm doing really strict prep work, but of course you know you can just kind of play it without doing that. But prep work is great. Then you can flip it and start with M and go to I, M to I to M. And you're just alternating every time. Then you can do the Mark Knopfler technique if we're not using our thumb, and I was just doing like a quick little blues run in between a finger picked part. Then I would do PI, so thumb, index finger. And I'm alternating those every time. Thumb, thumb pointer, thumb pointer. You can do prep work with that too. I need work on that. Example ZZ, we just do the same thing on a C major scale. You can go higher if you want. All sorts of ways to shift it there. You can jump up there, you can do your pointer finger a few times in a row. Again, it's really context dependent there. You get the idea. Make sure you flip it though and start with M. And go backwards starting with M. Here is the C major scale swung. Long, short, 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 long. Make sure to incorporate some swing. Everyone likes a good swung song. Now let's go back to that crazy passage that started this section and look how goofy it is. We can do I am, I am. We can do M-I. All right, let's give that thing some melody. So if that's not hard enough for you, we're going to start to move that top note. I'm just doing something random here. But just to show you how much melodic stuff you can do. Name that tune. Second example here, 3, 4. Make sure you're practicing those both ways, I am and then M-I. Check out this goofy one. I am, and we have to cross I to go back to M on the third string. I, M. So do that one real slow and strict alternate I, M, and you're going to realize how goofy that is. And if we try it the other way, starting on M, M, I, M, that's all good. I, then we have to alternate to M, only to cross I back to the second string. Some players will still choose to strictly alternate I and M. Where here, I give you free rein to do a Merle Travis kind of thing, where maybe you're doing I on the same string before you switch to M. No right or wrong way to approach this. Many guys do it different ways. Here are 3 ways we could approach that passage without alternate picking. We could do I-M-A, I-M-A. We'll get to the ring finger later. I'm jumping the gun, but just want to make this point here. I-M-A, I-M-A. And that's really clean. Like if your ring finger is strong, it's I-M on the second string, A on the third, I-M on the second string, A on the third. No weird crossings, and it's really smooth. If you don't want to use your ring finger, second way to do it is I-M, I-M. So you're keeping these two on the strings they're given at the beginning and doing I-M, I-M. That way you don't have to cross at all. You could also start with your middle finger. The third way would be M-I-M, M-I-M. Still has one string cross involved, but M-I sets up the M for that second string. And then you would just, the only awkward moment would be to double up that M there. M-I-M, M-I-M. User choice. Here we got the Mississippi Flutter. And all we're doing is just a back and forth. I plays the second string, M plays the first. Sometimes they're swung, and they're in fast succession. So, again, I would really practice my prep work. Maybe do a speed round in there. But trying to stay relaxed, and then you do it the opposite way. M to I. Let's do that with a thumb. 2, 3, 4. And then let's start with the middle finger. I'll do it slower this time. 3, 4. And I'm really heavily swinging these melody notes. These are more interesting because we're not consistent with it. There's more syncopation. So 3, 4. And the example to the right of that one. 3, 4. Let's do the first one a little quicker. And then the second one, 3, 4. I love this stuff. The PDF, we'll start with just some practice things and it ends with our study piece, the Mississippi John Hurt Flutter. So at the beginning, just giving you different ways to practice this I-M idea. We're going to do it 8 times on each string. I would really focus on the prep work, even if that means you're going a lot slower. Do it with I-M. Do it with M-I. Keep that hand relaxed. After that, in measure 7, you can just do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. As you go lower, it's kind of going to force you not to anchor your hand down here. In measure 10, you do each one twice. I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, etc. Remember to reverse it. M, I. In measure 12, we can flutter between the 2 strings. I, M. You can do that on different string sets. Sorry. measure 18, and I'll be honest, all this stuff sounds cooler in chords, so there's no reason you couldn't do measure 18 but like hold down a C chord. Go back up. That sounds way more interesting. I'm just doing, right, I am, but on a C chord. And then in measure 20, we're doing the opposite. We're kind of climbing up on a C chord. Switch it to an F chord. Any chords you're working on, bar chords. Sounds way more musical. Let's do our MJH flutter here. We're at measure 23. 2, 3, 4. Do it a little quicker and palm muted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeats. The triplet trick. Here I kind of get it in my head before I play anything. Triplet, 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 triplet. So there's 3 notes inside of every thumb hit. Triplet, 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 triplet. So I got thumb, pinch, triplet, thumb, thumb, pinch, triplet, thumb. And I want that to be very relaxed. No tension. 1, pinch, triplet. And right after this thumb hit on beat 3, I'm prepping both of them, so I can just fire one after the other. Actually, after beat 2, I'm putting all of them down, so they're ready to go. After beat 2, I'm prepping all of them, so I can fire them. 1, 2, triplet 4, 1, 2, triplet 4. I already covered this, but the idea is triplet, 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, chocolate, chocolate. There's 3 even beats inside of every one hit. Here's a crazy moment taken from Townes' Cocaine Blues. So we have this G chord with a pinky down. Then after that, right after 1 and thumb pointer, I'm going to start this one with the triplet. I got to lift that pinky, and I do thumb, pointer, middle. And that's my triplet. Triplet. But that one has to be a giddy up, right? That hammer on goes into the giddy up. At the same moment I hammer, my thumb hits the 6th string. Pinky goes back down on the 2nd string there. Then the ending, thumb hits the 3rd string. It's the 2nd, 3, 4. Ooh! Remember, learn before you practice. Just do the thumb, build out one melody note at a time. Here's measure 3 from Townes' Delta Mama Blues. 1 and triplet, 3 and 4 and 1 and triplet, 3 and 4 and. Really cool. We got a pinch. Then this is kind of hard to handle here. I would maybe double up on the middle finger, or you can alternate there. Then thumb to the 3rd string. But right after you play that 3rd string, you got to move that left hand pinky up. And that's all triplet, 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 triplet. Got to get that good before you move on. Then it goes right back into the pinch, pinky down, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, thumb to the G, pointer again on the second string, but you gotta lift the pinky for the last note. 3, 4. And measure 12 from the same Towns tune. Love this. Thumb alone, pinching, and right from that pinch we have a pull off, and my pointer hits the second string. Pinching thumb middle, pull off to pointer. And that's my triplet. 1, triplet. Problem is it doesn't end there, because at the end of that triplet, I'm hammering into a giddy up. So I hammer to the pinky, and at the same time I'm hitting my thumb on the 5th string. So 3, 4, triplet, giddy up. Giddy up. And then to open on the 1st string, thumb does 3, pointer does 2, 3, 3, 4. So awesome. Here is the first of the 2 triplet study pieces. First one's just labeled a triplet trick. Let's do that PDF for measure 1, 2, 3, 4, C chord, 1, 2, triplet, thumb, thumb, P-I-M, descend the bass, 1, 2, triplet, keep descending to the A minor, then start the triplet here, triplet, thumb, triplet, thumb, triplet, thumb, and that could repeat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 9, we got another little study piece starting on the F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, triplet, 3, 4, to a G. Get the idea, you can really run with these. Let's do the last little 8-bar thing starting on 17 here. 2, 3, 4. Kind of like Sligo River Blues. Repeat. Right, you can treat the hammer on like an afterthought, have it be real mellow and soft. So many fun ways to approach it. So here is the Cohen style triplet, the second PDF here. Basically the same, nothing new at the first 4 measures. I'm just kind of reminding you, triplet, we can approach it like that. We can do that same scheme on a G chord. Measure 3, we could do the triplet at the beginning. Triplet, thumb, thumb, thumb. Same thing in measure 4 on a G. Triplet at the beginning. Make sure to practice all this slow, do your prep work. This is going to take months of time to build up, but eventually Cohen really blazes in this style. Let's do it slow first for measure 5, 3, 4, triplet, triplet. And every time I'm prepping, sorry, can't talk and do this at the same time. Every time I'm playing this, I'm prepping these 2 together. So they're already there, and I can just fire up without having to worry about moving them. So I start with them all down, put them right back down. So every time I play that thumb, they're all going right back down. Gradually over time, you can really get these things cooking. showing you what you can strive for. Listen to some of early Leonard Cohen records. Those first 3 albums just have tons of that. The Stranger Song, The Partisan, The Teacher, so many good ones. But let's go from measure 9 here to the end of this PDF. 3, 4, 5. So now we're mixing the triplet just with a normal kind of back and forth. Quick example of what I mean by a speed burst. Let's say we were trying to get that triplet trick under our belt here. So P, I, M, then alternate to the 4th string, P, I, M, 5, 4. If I want to get that faster, I'm going to do it really slow. Do my prep work. And maybe 1 burst. Right back down to slow speed. You can set a metronome, or you can just let it be organic. But what we're trying to do here is trick our brain that we know how to play it. It's like doing a quick hill sprint. If you sprint too long, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to go tense, your muscles are going to fatigue, you're going to hurt yourself. But if you can relax, stay real mellow, 1 quick speed burst, but it's so fast that you don't get a chance to tense up and freak out, bring it back down. So we're kind of training our bodies, our central nervous system, however you want to think about it. We're training it like, hey, you can go fast without getting all crazy intense. You can be cool and calm and relaxed at that speed. And that's how you want to practice that speed. You don't want to just go like, right, fumble it, mess it up. But you want it to always be stay relaxed. Maybe it's only 1 burst. Maybe you're just doing. Slowly, maybe you're building up to 2. Or you're doing less rest time. I don't know what that's going to look like to you, but the point is to stay calm and relaxed and just get in the zone. The ring finger. Let's do this. You just want to relax your hand and only play the ring. Now, a lot of it. You just want to relax your hand and only play that ring finger. Now, a lot of guys in the classical world will tell you that when you're doing that, the pinky's going to go with it. They share a muscle, I'm told. I don't know what they share. But we're just doing that. We don't want the technique to be any different. But we're grasping. See how weak my ring finger is? And I'm resting all these other strings. You can also just float everything so nothing's touching and just do that ring finger. Now, I know there are going to be some songs where you're palm muting, so sure, this is a lot harder to do without that pinky going with it. So practice it both ways, and that's why we practice in the context of songs a lot too. Like Never Going Back Again, that Fleetwood Mac song, you gotta palm mute it and do that triplet thing. Not easy. Let's get off of Travis picking here. Note that this one is not a Travis picked thing, we're just playing some arpeggios with our different fingers. So I'm doing P, I, M, A, and then right back to M, I. So I'm just going down and back up the stairs. If you have a weak ring finger, this might seem hard, but once you get used to it, it's so much easier because you don't have to put any thought into where your hand is going. Each finger's just doing its job. You can do your prep work real slow on these too. Put them all down at the beginning, but then going up. The moment I play the ring, prepping middle. The moment I play the middle, prepping I. When I play the P again, I prep all of them. That can be really hard just to get the placement. Take it slow. Here's a second one here on page 134, A minor. Just doing a little back and forth at the end there to make up for the beat count. Now a G chord, no reason you couldn't do thumb straight to ring finger and then descend from there. Now we can start pinching and involving all the fingers in interesting arpeggios. I love this one. Very classical sounding, but lovely. So I'm pinching P and M, have I on the 3rd string, ring finger goes to the top string, and right back to I. So I've got a pinch, I, pinch with M, I, A. The next one I'm doing it on a G chord. Here I'm pinching with the ring finger at the beginning, then doing M, I, M on 2nd, 3rd, 2nd. So pinch with the ring, M, I, M. Here we can do 2 pinches on this E chord. I'm pinching 6 and 1, then my pointer finger, then I'm pinching thumb with middle. So I got thumb and ring, then the index, thumb and middle pinch, index, pinch with the ring, pointer, pinch with the middle. Makes a great sound. What's up, dude?
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. So let's take that same pattern we just did, but do it on a G chord. So I'm pinching thumb and ring on 6 and 1. Index goes to the 3rd, thumb and middle go to 4 and 2, and then right back to the index on the 3rd. Once you get good at that, check this one out on the right. This is a lot of fun. The only difference is at the beginning I'm doing the thumb alone, so I'm staggering that part, and then this is the same as what we already learned. This one is quite beautiful. Every time we're just going to change our melody note so that it's descending. Last one's going to be a little tricky because that melody note's on the 2nd string. But let's try it. 3, 4, pinch. This last one, I'm putting the pinky down, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and I'm pinching P and M again. Then it's index, then I'm pinching P and M again. So it kind of breaks the right hand pattern. But otherwise it's the same. That one's quite beautiful. Let's do the same pattern, but change the inside voice. So on the G string, it's going to be open, then we're going to go to the 2nd fret on that string, back to open, then I'm going to bring your ear down to the 4th string, that F sharp, 4th fret of the D string. This one's going to be tricky on that G chord. Try it real slow. 3, 4, pinch. I'm going to put my middle finger down now. Right, notice it's not really on the pinch, it's a moment after. So I have pinch, and that's when I'm executing that one there. Pinch, and 3, and 4, and pin lifted. And then here we got a pinch. Change it up on you, so pinch, and then I'm putting the pinky down. It's a heck of a stretch there, right? I suppose you could change your finger if you wanted to, or do the thumb over the top. Nah, not really. Do it this way. 3, 4. I'm just trying to trip you up here. Finger. Here's your study piece for Lord of the Ring. It's kind of broken into different parts, but the first 4 are a nice little study piece, just an arpeggio. The whole time we're doing P, I, M, A, M, I. And remember, you can play it smooth, but you can also do it really considering all the prep work of each measure. Then an E minor, keeping that pinky down. C with the pinky still held down. So I'm changing the string sets, but I'm still doing P, I, M, A, M, I. 3, 4. measure 5, we're doing the roll. It's kind of like the triplet idea where we kind of rolled quickly like that, but we're going to go all the way up to the ring finger. So P, I, M, A, then P on another string, but still followed by I, M, A. P, I, M, A, alternate the bass, I, M, A, P. Just playing with the bass note there. So again, for measure 5, it was 5th string, 4th, 6, 4, then A minor, 5, 4, 6, 4, to an F chord, 6, 4, 5, 4, G, 5th string, and then eventually you can get that quick, 3, 4. Measure 13 just shows you could do the same thing backwards. A, M, I, P, A, M, I, P. And changing the thumb string. 5th, 4th. In 14 you could also do it a different way where you do P, A, I, M. So the whole point of me writing these is so that you can run through the above progressions, just change the arpeggio, play through chords. It could even be chords that you're working on, right? You can always do multiple birds with one stone. If you're trying to get like triad shapes down, you know, on the first string set or something, you can run through your arpeggios doing that kind of thing. Whatever works. And then 15 we talked about already in the book, but here it is on a C chord. You're pinching thumb and ring to the index, thumb and middle, back to the index. Thumb and ring pinch, index, thumb and middle pinch. You can do all sorts of different chords, which is what we're about to do, starting in measure 17. You got another little study here, 17 to 22. So start on that C chord, same pattern, 3, 4. Put the pinky down, lift it. Same thing on A minor, put the pinky down. G7. So what's really cool about that G7 is I also have that 6 in there, right? I'm letting the E ring open, my pinky's on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So that already sounds interesting. Then I can put my pointer finger down and make it a G7, back to G6. Just a nice way to voice a G7. And then in measure 23, one more kind of variation on that pattern where I'm going to pinch thumb and ring. 1 and 6, then go to middle, then pinch thumb and index finger on 4 and 3. So 1 and 6, 2 with the middle, then pinch here, and 4 and 3, and then right back to the middle. So that's the pattern. We got a pinch, descending, pinch, ascending. So let's try it. We're going to do it on E, A, and B7. 2, 3, 4. Accents. Get lost in it, have fun. Red River Valley, let's just do the melody. Now normally I'd probably play some thumb in there, but because my thumb is going to be doing the, the bass, Travis picking it, make sure you practice the melody only with I and M and that you got it. I'm just going to do a bit of it here so you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest, rest. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2. 1, 2. And the chorus is almost identical. You get the idea. So practice that. Make sure all that's clear, that you know the song well enough where you have the melody, so that when we Travis pick it, you're not in the dark. Let's do all of Red River Valley. Now, of course, you're going to want to learn this bit by bit, add the melody one note at a time to each of these measures. But I will make note of measure 7 here, where I'm just playing, it's in E minor, but I'm just doing the higher strings, and same with the voicing of the F. So feel free to voice it pretty sparse, but you don't need the full chord there. And then in 14, I always miss it, like you could just do a C, but I did the inversion. And there, that might be a little weird, but I'm just gonna bar that pointer finger in measure 14. I'm just gonna drop that pointer finger so it bars both of those ones. One other C/G, but that's it. I think you got it. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Could keep playing there. Yeah. My instinct would be to have a little more fun with this. Always, I can't help but kind of syncopate some of the melody notes, and then instead of just doing the strict rhythm, the melody rather, instead of doing the strict melody, you could add some notes in between. So that's up to you. That would be a fun project. We'll do it with the next song. But what I mean by that is eventually your Red River Valley, with some practice and addition, can become... there, so much fun. And here it is. Oh, the culmination of goodness. I Saw the Light by Hank Williams, arranged in the style of Mississippi John Hurt. And let's see how it goes. I had a lot of fun arranging this one, so let's do it. We've got a G chord. I'm going to put my pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. My thumbs go back and forth between 6 and 4. So I got 2 pinches. And then the second half of the measures is fun. Stagger, 6, 1, 4, 2. And I've got them all open there. So I pinch, then I lift my pinky right now and get those open. Pinch, pinch, then it's thumb, middle, thumb, pointer. Second measure, pinky goes down to the 1st string now. Pinch, I get an and in there with my pointer finger on the 2nd string. Then thumb back to the middle. Then it's thumb and thumb. So measure 1 and 2. Measure 3. Measure 3 is a lot like measure 1, thumb, then I'm pinching. And it's the same as measure 1. Measure 4, real easy, 6 and 1 pinch. Then keep it going. So let's do 1 through 4, 3, 4. Measure 5. It comes from like a C bar chord, but think of it this way. We're kind of doing a power chord, 3 and 5. Then I'm gonna bar, I'm actually barring all the 5s though, so I just have 3 and 5 with pointer and ring. Then my pinky goes on the 5th fret. It's gonna have to move around actually. So it's gonna do the 5th fret of the 1st string as well as the 2nd. So I'm going to this chord and my pinky's actually down on the high E string. And I'm doing 5 and 1. Then I lift that pinky. Then I do 4 and 1. So the melody note is pinky to the barred 3rd fret. And back to thumb. And then I do my pointer finger on the 2nd string, but I put my pinky down on the 2nd string, 5th fret. So the melody's doing that 5, 3, and then the pinky's got to snag the 5 on the 2nd string. 3, 4, pinch, pinch, thumb, and thumb. Add the pinky there. Tricky, but I know you'll get there with some patience. Measure 6, playing on the same idea. The pinky stays where it was, pinching 5 and 1, and then immediately going to the 2nd string there. Thumb on 4 and right back to 1. So no fancy pinky work there, thankfully. Pinch and thumb, and then you just end the measure. So 5 and 6 together, 3, 4. Measure 7, you can do the same as 5. But if that is kind of tricky, I just wrote it in a different way. So it's up to you. I probably wouldn't play both of these different the way I wrote it. Either pick 5 or pick 7 and do it the same way each time. But another way to handle that, we're always looking for secrets here. Not secrets, but easier ways to perform it. So for example, when I'm playing that note, well, that's a G. So I could do that open. So I could kind of like play this almost like a C chord. But notice how I'm doing my pointer finger. Right, we do this all the time on a C. 5 to 3. I can do my pointer finger, and now the other fingers can do higher melody notes. So what I'm doing here is I'm pinching that 5 with this one, then jumping to the 3rd string so it's open. Sorry, and then I pinched the 3 there, so I got 3 and 5. And then I'm quickly moving to my middle finger to get the 3rd fret. And then thumb, and then I lift that middle finger and play that one open. So now I'm handling the melody like this instead of what we did before. We're doing 5, 3, open. This also feels a little awkward. Right, here's measure 5. Same exact notes, and then here it is here. Whichever one is easier for your hands. Measure 8, back to a G. We get pinch with a pull off right at the beginning. So pinch and pull off, and then my pinky goes to the 3rd string. So a lot of pinky work. Measure 9 and 10 are the same as the beginning. Now let's have some fun. We call this a double stop, where we're going up to 7 and 7. 7 on the E string, and 7 on the G, and check it out, I'm doing ring finger on that one, middle on that one. A lot of fun. I'm not going to go into the theory of the chords that I'm implying here another day. So I'm pinching, so now my thumb's going back and forth between 4 and 3. Pinching with the middle, then immediately the index finger on the 2nd string. So it's 4, 1, then 2, then 3, 1. Then we kind of do the same thing. Well, then we do 4, 2, but I move my hand to get ready for pinching both the 5s. So it's 4, 2, then pinch 3 and 1. And you can hold it down. If you want the slide in there, it doesn't really matter. 3, 4. I like lifting it up. It's nice and clean. No string squeak. Yeah. Then 12, we go to a G chord. You you can keep the double stop here, like, and just do it like that. I mean, you can bar like 3, 3, 4, or you can just do 3, nothing, 4, because we're not playing that string. Pinching, thumb alone, then it's thumb and thumb. Now here in the tab I wrote that as open, because that's going to give you a second to move up to the next chord. Or if your hands are quick enough, you can still snag that 4. But feel free to do the open string cheat and lift that chord up at the end. So it's pinch, thumb, thumb, middle, lift it, and measure 13. I love this one. It's so much fun. So we're playing a G chord, and I do the C shape. So I don't know if you know about this whole like cage system or whatever you want to call it. When you have a C chord like this, if you were to play it with your pinky, you could move it and then bar those, right? So now my first finger is acting as the capo. Now I know that looks really goofy. Another way to think about it is it's a D chord, but instead of doing an open D here, I'm going to bar these like this and then put my ring finger on the 4th fret of that string. So it's a normal D chord, but I'm adding my ring finger to the 4th fret, right? And then my root would be there if I added my pinky. And guess what? If I had a capo here, I'd just be playing a C chord. Ha! See how the C and the D chord are like the same, but the D's like coming it from this end, and the C shape's coming it from this end. Anyway, we don't need that pinky, so that's the good news. It's just that kind of D barred like this with the ring finger there. But if I move that all the way up, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, I'm not making any sense. Yeah, no, yeah, I am. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. I said that right, didn't I? So here's where we're at. We're way up here. So I got 7, 8, 7, like a little D chord. Then my ring finger plays 9. I'm also adding my pinky down, so that'd be like doing like a D like this. So I got that shape, and my pinky's on the 10th fret of that high string. So let's learn this. I'm up here. It's kind of like before. My thumb is just going back and forth from the 4th and the 3rd string. And I'm pinching thumb and middle on the top string here. Immediately to the pointer finger, then the thumb. And then right back to the middle. Pinch, pointer, thumb, middle. Pinch with thumb and middle, pointer, thumb, middle. Then I'm just doing thumb, pointer. Then I'm kind of going to use the middle, but I'm sliding out of the chord from 10 to 12. So that whole measure, 3, 4. Then I move it right back down, 10, 7, and I'm just playing those melodically. And check that out. So we did 10 to 7. Then I'm going to play 10 on the 2nd string and 9 on the 3rd. And I'm sliding down 2 frets. So the 9, 10 becomes 7, 8. Lots of different fingers you can do that with. No right or wrong there. So 3, 4. Then instead of doing the double stops here and measure 15, I'm going to play all 7s, which implies like a B minor. Or you can think of it as like some kind of a D chord with whatever, the 6, right? Then I move it to all 5s. So it's kind of the same picking as before. Pinch, pinch, pointer, thumb, middle. The strings are 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, thumb, pointer, and then I slide them down and pinch 3 and 1. So only at the very end am I moving it. 3, 4. Then I jump to a G chord. And this is where it's weird. I mean, you could pinch it with these two, but I'm throwing my thumb over the top to get the 2 3s. Then I'm hitting it open. Then I'm hammering 3 to 4, that little blue note in there on the 3rd string. Then 3 to 5 on the 2nd string. So I'm getting rid of the thumb there. I'm just doing a lead. Then back into Travis picking. 17 is I'm pinching 6 in the top 2. Offbeat, pinch, thumb, and so those last 2 measures, 3, 4. second ending, you'd repeat the whole thing. The second ending would be pinch. So I'd do it here. I don't know why I did it that way, guys. Honestly, you can just finish the same way. I don't know why I kept it as a bar chord here. Just showing you that you could do that. If you were good at that thumb over the top, you can do all that cool stuff while keeping the thumb going. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Whew, it's a good one. You're gonna do it. Let's run it through real slow here. 2, 3, 4. Other voicing, but I would pick on both the same way. Sorry. The second ending. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this way. Fun with that one. I'm messing up the ending there. Yeah, you are a finger licker, cowboy picker. Boo! Congratulations. Send me an email. Tell me you finished the book. How did it go for you? You made it. If you are not a good picker by the time you reach the end of this book, then you're hopeless. You're a waste of life. No. Then send me an email and tell me what was wrong with the book. But if you made it this far and put in the time, congrats. You got some great picking chops under your belt. And, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I'll call you up. I'll get you on the horn. I'll congratulate you, and we'll have a conversation about it. And tell me your pitfalls and your successes and everything in between. Until next time, guys, keep picking. Find me on YouTube at mikesmusicmethod.com. Hopefully, at the time of you watching this, I'm still around making awesome content, and who knows what I'm up to now. Later.